Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and sorry the Q&As are going up very, very late today. I've been busy with the holidays and everything. Just had to go do dinner with some family. But I am back, ready to do the Q&A, so Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Let me put my +5 hat of weaponsmithing on, and let's get to this first question. All right. What should one do to get back into working out after taking over a year off? I used to work out 4 or 5 days a week for several years, but life got the best of me. You know what, brother? Life gets the best of us all sometimes. I have been there. And I haven't worked out in over a year. I signed back up at the gym, and I'm trying to get back into things. I've gained 20 pounds and feel so sluggish. Trying to prevent injuries. All right, fantastic. You know what I like is that, you're coming back. You had to take a year away. You know that you want to get back in. I'm glad that you did it before making a New Year's resolution. You signed up for a gym. And what I really like is that you're coming back thinking about injuries, doing it smart, doing it safe. All right, I think you're on the right track. I think that should be your number one concern. All right, number one, ease back into things slow. You might be like, well, I used to bench press 200 pounds for 3 reps. Start with the empty bar. Be like, I used to deadlift 365 for 2 or 3 reps. Start with 95 pounds. All right. Start slow. Work your way back up slow. You know what? There's no need to get in a hurry. What I would recommend you do, spend a lot of time starting back on your mobility. Do core work every day. Band crunches with bands or cables. Do planks. Build up to doing weighted planks. Get your core strong. Work on your mobility. Do some box squats. Try sitting on a box. Do third world squats. Start doing band work for your shoulders. First week, start doing face pulls and stuff with bands for your shoulders. Start doing rotator cuff work. I want you to get your hips limber again. I want you to get your shoulders limber again. Get your rotator cuff strong. Get your core strong. Spend several weeks with really, really light weight, remastering the technique on all of your exercises. All right? Remaster the technique on your bench press, your deadlift, hell, even your lat pull downs. I don't care what exercise you're doing. Remaster those techniques. Get the bar pass down. Work on your form. Build your core. Get your mobility up. Get your rotator cuff strong. Strong core and strong rotator cuffs are going to be real important for you coming back because you've previously been stronger. After only a year, you might find your strength balancing back really, really quickly, but all your stabilizers aren't there. So spend some time working on those. You know what? And don't be in a hurry. Take it day by day. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. All right, you're a little more mature lifter than you were before. And I'm glad, again, you're thinking about injury prevention, because if you're thinking of injury prevention and you're taking the steps now to prevent injury, you're going to be so much better in the long term. You're going to have less aches and pains, lower chance of injury. You're going to stick it out longer. You're going to be in the gym longer, and you're going to make this a lifestyle thing again. And that's what I like to see, brother. So welcome back. Congratulations back to the Iron Game. Get those rotator cuffs and core built back up, master that form, and get on a good routine. Once you do all that stuff for a month or so and get on a good routine, check my routine playlist. I have several there depending upon your lifestyle and what your life is like for you to pick from. All right, next question. Hey Jason, I'm considering doing your Novice 5x5 routine. My work allows for a very flexible schedule, and I'm wondering if I could split the workout sessions into lower in the AM, upper in the PM. So in essence, it would still be full body for that day. My reasoning is by splitting up the same day, I would have more energy to focus on each session rather than doing it all in one session, possibly rushing it, increasing the chances of grinders, blah, blah, blah. He wants to eat, rest, all that stuff, time not being an issue. Is this a good idea, or am I overcomplicating things? Brother, I think you are overcomplicating things. Way overcomplicating things. All right, if you don't have the energy to complete the Novice program in one full session, it is probably not the right program for you. You know what? That doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't mean that you're inferior. It's nothing to be ashamed of. The Novice program is a maximum hypertrophy program. It is very, very high volume. It is difficult to recover from. It is not for everyone. All right? And some people are just not genetically a good fit for this program, or their lifestyle is not a good fit for this program. Do it all in one session. And if you're struggling to do it all in one session, what I recommend is an alternative. Run my linear hypertrophy program. For people who do not recover as well to the really high volume and workloads of the 5x5, just again, to their genetic recovery rates. Different people handle workload versus intensity different than some people. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have an alternative program for those people that will work just as well for you. It will probably work better for you if you're one of those people. It's called my linear hypertrophy program. Go check it out. I think if this is a concern for you, you're going to enjoy that program a lot more, and I think you're going to get a lot better progress off of it in that case. It is also in my free programs playlist, so go check that out. All right, next question. LISS cardio, is there any problem with plugging away too much of it? I invested in a home treadmill, $250 used, and able to lose track of time on it, messing around on the internet, answering emails, browsing YouTube, listening to podcasts, etc. Actually, dude, I ride my bike and I play video games. I crank it up on one of the higher settings, and I ride for at least an hour every day. I know exactly what you mean. That's my video gaming time. But just at a decent walking pace. Sometimes I get done and 2 hours has gone by. I'm definitely a person with a big appetite, so it's not really for cutting as much as cardio protectives besides a little bit of dietary damage control. Yeah, man, I'm with you there. That's the same reason I do cardio, because I'm not interested in getting cut. I'm not interested in getting ripped. I actually don't believe in that. But I'm a big advocate of LISS cardio. LISS cardio has a lot of health benefits for you. And that should be your primary reason for doing it, the health benefits. And what you're doing is great because you're multitasking. You're doing your little busy work, or doing your TV watching, or playing your video games and podcast documentaries while you do your cardio. That's fantastic, because most people sit around on their ass. You're doing low intensity cardio, and you know what? So what if you do 2 hours of it a day? Even if initially it causes a problem for you, if initially it affects your recovery, within a few months it will stop hurting your recovery. All right, once your body adapts to doing 2 hours of LISS every day, you're not only going to recover from it fully, you're going to find that it's going to improve your work capacity. It's going to improve your muscles' ability to clear waste products better through better capillarization. And you're going to find that you recover even better from your workouts. That's one of the health benefits from doing just low-intensity cardio for the strength athlete. It's not about fat loss. I mean, it can be for some people. But that's one of the big advantages. Not only is it good for your heart, that low intensity, long bouts of cardio make your body better at recovering. It's a very powerful recovery tool, and that makes it extremely useful for people who are trying to get stronger. Extremely useful, again, for balancing things out, keeping your heart healthy, but again, helping you with your recovery. So no problem there. If it hurts your recovery a little bit at first, it's okay. In the long term, it will help you. So I see absolutely nothing wrong with what you're doing with using your busy time to do low intensity cardio. No, I think it's one of the best things you could possibly do. So keep right on doing it. Props to you, brother. All right, next question. Hey Jason, just wanted to know your thoughts on glucosamine and chondroitin and LSM supplementation as a preventative tool in order to keep the connective tissue and articulation healthy. Thanks. Happy holidays. Tough one. You know, my dad took tons of this stuff for his arthritis years ago. What I would say on it, it's still pretty unproven. I've seen a lot of mixed data over the years on glucosamine and chondroitin. A few studies show it helps. Other studies show it does nothing. I'm not even sure what the current meta-analysis is on it. So what I would say is it's going to fall in that category of, are you someone who has maybe a little bit of minor arthritis or something, and you make enough money that you don't care about the cost of glucosamine and chondroitin? Go ahead and take it. It doesn't seem to be harmful in any ways. As far as it actually being helpful, I think it's still hit or miss, you know, and so I wouldn't recommend someone who is going to miss the money, like, you know, whatever you're paying, $20 a month or whatever for it. If you're someone who's going to really miss the money, I wouldn't waste my money on it. No, not at all. If you're someone who's making a good income, you have a little bit of arthritis because it might help. There's, you know, I don't know, the data's unproven. There's maybe a 20-25% chance it's actually going to help you. We could throw it in that range. If $20 a month isn't really anything to you, then 1 in 4, 1 in 5 chance that it's going to help you, go for it. It's as simple as that. But no, I don't necessarily stand by it. I don't think there's real solid evidence that it is actually helpful. But it's one of those supplements that falls into the category of maybe it might be helpful. So if it's not going to break your bank and these are real concerns for you, then okay, give it a try. All right, next question. Jason, we know that elevated muscle protein synthesis after workout lasts anywhere between 28 to 48 hours. However, what exactly determines how long you end up growing within this range, and how much stimulation the work was is definitely a factor, but are there others as well? Do genetics play a role? If we could theoretically know this, would this mean that a person that tends to stay closer to the 28-hour mark may get much more gains at a high frequency, such as everyday training? I'd love to hear points on this. Thanks. That's a tough one. I don't think we know all the factors behind it. There probably is a genetic component. There probably is a workload component. I am going to say, though, that, yeah, people who push things a little bit harder, who do put in maybe a little more metabolic fatigue, maybe someone who takes a set to failure, maybe someone who does some rest pause training, or maybe someone who does a little higher volume training might extend that out a little closer to the 48-hour range. It's really hard to say. We can speculate that. And that's why I tell guys, even though I'm big on even low volume training and doing some rest pause, one set if you want, I wouldn't ever discount high volume training, because it might push that muscle protein synthesis up time from 36 hours up to 40 hours for you personally. It might give you a little bit bigger of a growth window. All of that's probably not a big deal for people who are getting sufficient workloads every 2 days, people training 3 days a week with full body. But yeah, if you were going to bring the total workloads down to make them more recoverable, then yeah, maybe for that person, training every day might give them better results. But the thing is, we really don't know on that one, and it's really hard to say. It's really hard to speculate all the factors that affect that window or not. And the problem is that, though, sometimes when you tell them that the extra workload might increase that growth time window, guys want to throw 10 extra sets of fluff and pump at stuff, and not understand that when we're talking about workload, we're talking about real workload. Doing some big movements for some high reps with moderately heavy weight would be adding workload, not doing a couple extra sets of little concentration curls. An extra couple sets of weighted chin-ups, extra couple sets of 10 rep squats with 70% of your max, that might be what we're talking about there. But certainly not always. It's not necessarily going to make a big difference on a little fluff and pump. However, the caveat being, given that for a lot of people it might be closer to 28 hours, if you really do have a weak body part, that you really think needs to come up, all right, maybe coming in and doing one little set with high reps every single day might not be a bad idea. Maybe your delts are lagging a little bit. You could do some 25 or 30 rep set of dumbbell overhead presses every single day, just for some extra metabolic fatigue. And maybe for that person that might help just because of that, because that growth time window is probably less than 48 hours. That little bit of extra metabolic work might be exactly what that person needs to bring up a weak body point. But as far as all the factors go, we can speculate that extra workloads, or doing some rest pause work, something that's going to push stuff up a little further, again, some extra metabolic fatigue might extend that window closer to the 48-hour mark. But that really kind of remains unproven at this point. We don't actually know. That's just speculation. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 2.